Now, studying is an essential part of academic success, but to many of us, it can be an overwhelming and daunting task, and we often find ourselves procrastinating or not actually want to study altogether. But have you actually wondered why do we actually procrastinate even when we know it's actually important? So today in this video, I'm going to give you the science behind why we procrastinate. Now, the truth is that a lot of students actually procrastinate because they feel overwhelmed and they feel like they don't actually have time to do all of it, everything. Now, one of the best ways to prevent this is to prioritize and focus on what is mostly important at that particular time. Like I said, it's not always important that you study 24 hours a day. If you can study 5 hours a day, it's okay. Now, prioritize and focus on what's more important to you. Another tip you could use is to break down your tasks into smaller bits and perform them bit by bit. You don't always have to perform all your tasks at once. You could break it down and perform it little by little. Now, the third tip I would give you is to ask for help. Now, it's okay to ask for help from people if you're dealing with a particular topic or a particular subject. You could ask for help from your teacher because that is actually why they are there, to guide you and to push you through. Everyone always study with a particular topic, but the way you study, you handle those particular topic is what will actually determine if you're going to come better or worse. And one of the reasons why a lot of students procrastinate or tend to avoid studying is learning style mismatch. Now, a lot of students actually find it hard to study because they don't know what studies technique works best for them. Now, it's always okay, it's always best to try out different styles, especially when you're new to studying, because experiment with new technique, try out new style. You could try studying in the morning, try studying in the evening, try studying at night, and try to find out which study technique works best for you and tailor your study time to that particular technique. Now, like I said before, it's okay to try out different technique, it's okay to try out different style, then find out which one works best to your preference and stick with that. Another reason why a lot of students tend to procrastinate or don't actually want to study is lack of motivation. Now, it's really difficult nowadays to get motivation to actually study because a lot of students don't actually see value in what they are studying. Now, one tip I'd give you is you could reward yourself. Now, this is really the most important part because your brain is actually wired to maximize pleasure and minimize stress or pain. And your brain, once you try to read, your brain senses this as a threat, or your brain senses it as a form of pain, and it doesn't want you to actually study. Now, you could reward yourself because when you reward yourself at the end of every study time, or at the end of any study plan, your brain is actually wired to want to finish this study plan. Your brain knows that okay, there is a cash at the end of this study plan, and this will actually make you want to study more. So always try to reward yourself, and also, like I said, try to cut your work into smaller chunks. You don't always have to study the whole textbook a day. You can study just one topic or just one page. Now, it depends on you, and if you're new to study, I think you should take it little by little. Another reason why a lot of students procrastinate and avoid study altogether is distraction. Now, with the rise of social media, it's very easy for a lot of students to lose focus in wanting to study because it's really easy, and it's really your brain actually sees the social media as a form of reward to itself and release a high amount of dopamine. Now, when your high amount of dopamine is released in your head, it actually wants more of that activity. And if you are being distracted by Facebook and a lot of dopamine is released in your head, it's going to be really hard for you to distance yourself from that and want to study. Now, one of the tips I will give you guys is, even if yes, you actually need to go on social media, you could always put it as a reward. Like I said before, when I was talking about lack of motivation, you could give yourself, okay, 2 hours of Facebook after you're done with studying. Now, keep your phone aside, put it on airplane mode, switch it off, give it to a family member, whatever. Then after you are done with studying, then you could give your brain this high boost of dopamine by going online and doing whatever you want to do. But it should never ever be before you study, because when you say you want to study before you read, then trust me, you're not actually going to read. But once you give yourself that motivation that okay, at the end of this topic I'm going to do this, then you can do whatever you want to do. But first of all, always try to limit distraction. Whatever you feel like TV is going to be a distraction to you, try to limit it. It might be peers, it might be family, it could be your phone, it could be whatever. Always try to turn off those devices that you feel like is a distraction to you and try to study. Finally, stress and anxiety can actually be an effective barrier for you to study, especially when you have just a month to an exam. You begin to feel this high or rapid buildup of stress and anxiety. Now, one way which you can prevent this is exercise. Do a low intensity exercise before studying, which could actually increase the activity of your brain cell and make you more focused. Secondly is meditation. Now, it's always advisable to try out some meditation whenever you're stressed. You could try out things different. There are a lot of videos online you can watch to keep you calm and try out different exercises and different meditation. Now, another last tip I will give you guys is listening to music. Now, I myself use this as a way to escape the stress and anxiety. can listen to music, especially smooth music and not just rock and roll music, because by the time you play rock and roll, your mind might not actually be concentrated on your study. So you can listen to smooth music, or you could even listen to the music before you start reading to relax your anxiety and stress.